Welcome to Scorched Earth. This is going to be a general reading for the sign of Pisces, Sun, Moon and Ascendant. If you don't know what your Moon and Ascendant signs are, have a look in the description box below. There's a link down there that will take you to a site that will help you get your full birth chart. And then you should come back and watch the videos for your Moon and Ascendant signs, because it'll give you a better idea of what's going on with you overall than you'll get from just your Sun sign. Thank you so much for your continued support. If you're a subscriber of old, thank you so much. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope that you find something here for you. And thank you for the comments, the likes, the shares, the messages. I had some really beautiful messages this month. I really appreciate that. And the donations, my God, thank you so much. I appreciate every single last one of you in ways that you cannot even imagine. So thanks. Right, I don't think I have anything else to tell you. No, I think that's it. Apologies in being a bit late getting these up. I hadn't anticipated on having to prep for the apocalypse last week. I'd closed my books to new readings and spent, I don't know, probably a month planning through the backlog that I had. And I'd scheduled last week as a rest week. No rest. So we went from apocalypse prep straight back into YouTube readings. I've started doing extendeds, but this month I've just done them for the signs that I think really need them. And as yet, that is only Taurus and Virgo. Everybody else seems largely sorted with the readings that they've got. Obviously, I don't know whether you're going to need one or not until I get to the end of it. So if I've decided that you do, the link will be in the description box down there. If not, then you'll definitely get one next month, but I'm still trying to find my feet with everything. So, as well as having 5 children at home now, instead of here, there and everywhere. So things have been a little bit chaotic in the last couple of weeks, but I will get on top of it because that's what I do. That's enough shuffling for now. So could I have 3 cards for Pisces, please? Ooh, here's the first one. 5 of Pentacles. I'm using the Crow deck today, by the way, as well, which is awesome. 2 more cards for Pisces, please. I'm not going to take that because it hasn't jumped. It's just flipped, but it's the Strength card. It's a card of Leo in the Major Arcana there. It comes up for you quite frequently, actually. You could be dealing with a Leo, or you could have Leo in your chart somewhere, or maybe you're just being really strong at the moment. And that's cool too. 2 more cards for Pisces. Okay, I'm going to take that. 9 of Cups. The star is flipped, but it hasn't come out, so I'm going to show you that. That's the card of Aquarius. It talks also about wishes. Actually, fuck it, we'll put them both out, right? Because they both talk about wishes. I'm going to do that. And what's coming towards Pisces, please, for April? That's the one. Queen of Cups. I like it. Strictly Cancer, but it can be your energy too, or Scorpio. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the 3 of Cups. It talks about coming together rather beautifully, actually. I'll get into that anyway. Yeah, you see, before I even started the video, I looked at the Shadowscapes deck and I thought I'm going to end up using that to clarify, but then I just checked and it is the one that wants to clarify, so use that we shall. Sorry about the state of me, I literally couldn't be asked to put anything other than trackies and a hoodie on today, so that's how I'm showing up in the world. My hair is at that really awful length where it's just kind of sitting on your shoulders, another inch or 2 and it'll be great, but at the moment it just looks a fucking state, so apologies. But priorities and stuff. Can't be asked to sort it out. So, why is the Five of Pentacles here? Pisces. It's the first one, the World. I love that. I really, really love that. Why is the Five of Pentacles here? Oh, you've got 2 cards. You've got the Knight of Cups and the Hanged Man. Fabulous. I like that even more. Why is the Star and the Nine of Cups? Well, the Star and the Nine of Cups here. Pisces, please. Got the Two of Swords. Interesting. And what be that? Two of Pentacles. Huh. Interesting. You can see where that's going though. Right, and the Queen of Cups. Why is the Queen of Cups here? Pisces. Looks. It's clarified by 2 queens, and they are the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands, right? And it's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy, the Queen of Wands. Strictly Aries, but you know, can be fire sign. And how interesting that the Strength card should flip. And I should talk about the fact that this fire energy shows up in your readings periodically, whether that's you or someone you're dealing with. And then the Queen of Cups. I think I might end up pulling another card for that anyway, just because when you have a clarifier that clarifies is the same as the main card, right? It's really drilling home the message that this is important. You have to pay attention to this, but it also doesn't really give you much clarification. So actually, fuck it, we'll do it now. Another card for the Queen of Cups, please. And it is the Nine of Swords. Cool. I like that. 7 of Pentacles and the High Priestess underneath. That's, ooh, and the Wheel of Fortune. King of Pentacles as well. The High Priestess is Pisces, as far as I'm concerned. Not for other people, but it is for me. So that's you directly under here. Okay. Okay. So, the first card that you've got is the Five of Pentacles, and ordinarily, like, that's kind of a shitty card, like most of the fives are, right? In there. Well, all of the fives are in the Minor Arcana, right? It's a Pentacles card, so it talks of it's Earth energy, and it talks about resources of some description, right? And they can be money, if you want to look at it as flatly as that, but they can be any kind of resources, you know, anything that you put time and care and effort into, you know, whether that's emotional or spiritual or, you know, anything. And the fives, as an energy, they talk about instability, right? So you've got the fours, and they deal with foundation, they deal with security, they deal with stability, they deal with the bedrock, right? The ace through the 3 are kind of like opportunity and logistics and planning and execution, but the 4 is when things start to solidify and you kind of know where you are in the world. When you get to the fives just kind of bomb that, right? That's what the energy does. It takes those things that you know thought you could depend on, and they fuck it. No, they fuck it over. But in doing so, it's actually quite useful for you, because it enables you to refine what it is that you're doing, right? It shows you the things that are unstable, it shows you the things that aren't actually working for you, and it gives you an opportunity to move those out of the way, you know, get rid of them, and then move, which all the 6s are about movement, move away from that thing, right? To something better. So the Five of Pentacles talks about poverty at its most basic, right? Whether that's financial poverty, emotional poverty, spiritual poverty sometimes. Yeah. Anything that you feel like you lack in your life is indicated by this card, right? But it can also be a card of things being taken away from you, right? Or a fear of any of those things happening, yeah? It can be a card of being isolated and alone. It can be a fear of being pushed out. It can be being pushed out. Left out in the cold is how a lot of tarot readers describe this. And it's like, there are these 5 pentacles up in the tree, and there's, there are 3 crows surrounding it, and they're obviously all right, but then there's these 2 at the bottom, kind of having a shitty time down there, away from the pentacles. Now, this is in your recent past, kind of touching on present, right? And by recent past, that could be anything from the last few days to, say, maybe the last 3 months, right? It's a feeling of abandonment, isolation, lack, or a fear of those things. But what I really, really like about the clarifiers is that's come to an end, right? We've got the World card there, which usually depicts the 4 fixed signs, but not in this case. That would be, Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio. But what the World card does talk about is endings, right? The major arcana starts with the Fool, and it depicts his journey through all of the archetypes until you hit the World, and that is the end. It's the end of a cycle. Once you hit this card, where you go is back to the Fool. But rather than being back down there, it's here, because it's a card of elevating, right? You're closing out an old cycle because you've learned a lesson, and you move forwards then with the Fool to start on a new journey, but taking all of that, wisdom that you've accrued in the previous cycle with you in order to keep elevating up, right? But it's an end. It's an end to poverty. It's an end to isolation. It's an end to feelings of abandonment or fear of any of the above, right? It's coming to an end. And then we've got the Knight of Cups and the Hanged Man. Now, the Hanged Man is the card of Pisces for me, as well as the High Priestess, and we've seen both of them in this reading already. I love this deck. It's so Piscean. Like, I actually bought this my daughter, who is Pisces, I bought her this deck last year because every time I looked at the artwork, I just saw the world how she sees it. She's so arty and dreamy and ungrounded, and every time I look at these cards, I just see my daughter. But then we've got the Knight of Cups, right? Now, the Cup suit is all about love and feelings, emotions, and they can be towards other people or they can be for ourselves. And there's this chap sat on a unicorn here, kind of riding a wave towards a cup in the sky. That's the Ace of Cups. And as we know, the Ace of Cups can be new love of, a person or yourself, or, a situation, your life even, any of those, or a renewal of those things. And I feel like in closing out whatever this was before, whatever this fear or this lack or this abandonment, whatever difficult circumstances are indicated for you by the 5 of Pentacles, you've closed it out, you've left it behind, and you are moving forwards now, right? You're moving towards this cup here. It feels like, there's a couple of different ways of looking at it. It feels like it's a level of love for yourself that you're now starting to experience, because perhaps it was more a fear than actuality, the 5 of Pentacles. And you're starting to realize that actually you contain all of those things that you need to make you happy. And these feelings or these fears, the feelings of fear that you had, were ungrounded. And you're looking after yourself now. And you're moving straight towards the Hanged Man, which is your energy, which is talking to me of alignment. And this is going on across the signs. Like, all the signs are really starting to collectively just like pull themselves into where they're supposed to be. A couple of the signs are going through some pretty intense ascension things at the moment as well. But every single one of them to a sign so far, and I've only got 4 left to read for after you. They're aligning, right? It's collective energies putting themselves where they should be, and you are moving forwards with love now, whether that is love for another person, love generally for the collective, for humanity, or love for yourself. But it's absolutely the right place for Pisces to work from, and you're headed towards alignment, because your gift is to be able to see things in ways that other people don't. Aquarians can see the big picture, right off in the distance. They're humanitarians, and they're always looking at the horizon, kind of what makes them really difficult to be with in a relationship sometimes, because they're not that interested in the day-to-day stuff, always big picture things here. But your gift is one of the wisdom achieved by looking at things completely differently to everybody else, right? Upside down to everybody else. And anybody who questions the power of that ability, I would refer them back to fucking Pisces season and Mercury retrograde, because it fucked everybody over. And I got accused of being condescending about Piscean energy, and I feel like if that's what people took from what I was saying, then they completely misunderstood where I was coming from, because what I was actually feeling was completely fucking awestruck by how such a gentle power could, or such a gentle energy could be so powerful in really knocking signs sideways, ones that are traditionally associated with being very strong, like Leo. Like Leo was absolutely battered during Pisces season. Because your energy made everybody look at things differently, and fuck, it was hard for a lot of people. But you constantly live in that state. You see things differently, and you're moving towards that as a more consistent state now, I feel, having dealt with whatever crappy situation that was down there. That's fantastic. Now, in your current energy, you've got the Star and the Nine of Cups. And I remember that one actually came out, but that one just flipped. But I took them both because they talk about very similar things, right? They're both cards of wishes, but they're coming at it from slightly different angles, right? The Nine of Cups for me, and it's actually been coming up. Fuck, that might have come up for every single sign I've read for the last 10 days, 2 weeks, I think, possibly. It's called the Wish card, right? The wish fulfillment. All those 9 cups full of everything that you could ever want, and everything's fucking glorious, right? But when I started to learn tarot, I was like, why the fuck is that a 9? I don't get it. The minor arcana runs from ace to 10, so if something's wish fulfillment, surely it should be a 10, because what's fucking better than wish fulfillment? I can't think of anything. So why is it a 9? Why is it a step down from, completion? And I feel like the answer is because the 9s almost invariably depict only one character on the card each time, right? The 10s have multiple people. So for me, it feels like 9 is reaching that point where you can fill your own cup, to use tarot terminology, right? It's making yourself happy first and foremost, and then going forwards to take that energy with other people who also vibrate at that frequency to create something collectively beautiful, which would be the 10, right? But it's also a card of knowing exactly what it is that you want. I think as adults, what we tend to do, as we go through, we kind of stagger from one shitty situation to another, potentially from one shitty relationship to another, is we craft a list that is comprised solely of those things that we do not want, right? So we stagger out of a relationship and we go, well, that was a bit crap. I don't want that again. And we pick all of those things that hurt us about that relationship, or, you know, that job that we did, or any kind of circumstance that we find ourselves in. And it becomes like we have tick boxes against it. So like we don't want to be treated like this. We don't want to be ignored. We don't want to be, you know, undervalued, all of these kind of things. And that's the list that we use against all new things that come in, and we kind of set them off against each other. So, oh no, they value me, so that's cool. That's you know, and we end up kind of negatively. Oh, how's the way to put this? It's like negative liberties in law, right? If it's not stipulated that you can't do something, then by definition you can. So it's a negative liberty, right? It doesn't have to be stated somewhere specifically that you can do it, right? If we take that, that's what I'm thinking when I'm hearing this, right? It's kind of like things that we add to our life, things that we consider to be, you know, good for us, because they don't appear on a list of things that are bad for us, right? I think that's the best way of putting it, okay? Now, the problem with that is that then creates a list of things that we focus on by definition, right? We don't want this, we don't want that, we don't want the other. We're focusing on those things that we don't want, and that's not how the universe works. That's not how the law of attraction works, right? Because you're focusing on those things that were negative. So you're throwing out, essentially, a slightly negative vibe to the universe, which hears it and responds. So, they're focusing on that, we'll send them more of that, you know. For the law of attraction to work for you properly, what you need to do is really focus on those things that you are grateful for, those things that bring value to your life, those things that you actually want. And so for me, the 9 of Cups then comes to be this checklist of things that you do want, right? So rather than seeing if it doesn't appear on the list of things you don't want, you see if it does appear on the list of things that you do want. That's this card for me. Now, the Star card is similar but slightly different, because it's the card of Aquarius for a start. So if you're dealing with an Aquarius, then also good, right? It's a thing. I'm going to sign drop here. But this card talks about following your guiding star, right? Following your wish, having your wishes fulfilled sometimes, right? There's the star in the middle of the card. But the thing about following a guiding star, and that guiding star can be a person, or it can be a gut feeling, or, you know, any of those, or just your dearest hope, you have to trust that it's going to take you to the right place, right? If a fucking star appeared in the sky now, and I was like, bet that's going to take me somewhere awesome, you know, and I trust in it and I follow it and I get there, then that's fantastic. If this star appeared and I had this overwhelming feeling that it might take me to something cool, but I didn't really trust it, so I'm not going to do it, like, you're just not going to follow it, you're not going to do it. So for me, the message of this card is more trust than wish, if you follow. Yeah? Now, it's clarified by these two really interesting cards. You've got 2 twos, right? And the 2s for me are our internal energies, right? We've got the 2 of Swords and the 2 of Pentacles. Now, the reason that I said that I thought that this was really interesting is because for me, the 2 of Swords is a block, right? It's usually depicted as a woman sat blindfolded with her back to the moon and to the ocean. She's on a bench of sorts, and she's got 2 swords in front of her like this, and she's just sat there, right? The swords appear to be identical, right? And by extension, then, a choice that she is being faced with has options that appear to be, at least on the face of it, of equal validity. But the important thing for me in that card is that she's got her blindfold on, right? And she is deliberately turning her back to her emotions, which is the water and the sea, and her intuition, which is the moon up in the sky. And I think that's quite damaging, because you are depriving yourself of a layer of knowledge that you possess, and particularly you as Pisces, that would allow you to make a decision and move forwards. Now, the only reason for doing that generally is because you know which way you want to go, but you don't want to make the decision. So you blind yourself to, you know, those things that could actually help you make the decision either way, and you pretend that it's all about which one of the swords feels better, right? And then we've got the Two of Pentacles, which talks about balance to me, you know, of juggling resources and things like that, certainly, but it's an act. No, we've got a monkey sat here, and he's got a butterfly balanced right on the tip of his nose, and then this chap here he's kind of got he's standing on one leg, and he's got a pose, and he's throwing these pentacles up in the air. The Two of Pentacles, more than a lot of other cards, is one that varies dramatically from deck to deck. Like the character looks really stricken, right, and in quite a perilous position. In others, they look like the Triple Goddess. They look genuinely like gleeful about what it is that they're trying to pull off. This looks like an act of some artfulness, actually. Right? There's some skill there in what he's doing, right? But I feel what the cards as a whole are saying is that there is something that you want. There is something that you're really drawn to. You know, you've got a clear idea of what you want. You are hoping for it, right? You're starting to look for the guiding star. But the Two of Swords being here makes me feel that you don't quite trust that star. You don't quite know how to move forwards. And the Two of Pentacles is a need to balance that out a little bit. You know, maybe you're slightly concerned that what you're going to do is just scary because it's something new. That's a possibility. But it's certainly something to do with changing your current situation, because the card at the bottom of the deck was the Seven of Pentacles, which is the card of your current circumstances. Right? It's a card of looking at something that you have planted and you've put loads and loads of effort into nurturing and growing. It's got to a certain point, and now you're not entirely sure whether you need to continue investing in it to make it grow big, or whether you need to kind of divest, pull out, because, you know, it's not really progressing in the way that you wanted it to. We've got the Ace of Cups here at the bottom. Well, it's just come out to clarify this situation. We've already had the Ace appear. Oh, okay. We've already had the Ace appear in the Knight of Cups, you know. And I said you were kind of moving towards that, right? At the bottom of the deck, we've got Temperance, which is the card of Sagittarius. It was about time they made an appearance, because, you know, they've been Sagittarian energy's been over every single reading that I've done for like the last month, I think, as a sign. They are really strutting about and doing their thing. But like, just as towards the tail end of last year, like from sort of mid-November through to the first couple of weeks of January, I didn't do a single reading that didn't have justice in it somewhere, right? And there was this real sense of karmic debts being paid off, karmic contracts, people being released from those, learning what they needed to learn and such like that. Now, whether or not you've got a Sagittarian in your midst, and I can't believe that everybody has a Sagittarian literally right next to them, right, all the time. The energy is that of healing. The energy is that of balance, right? And it feels like off the back of the completion of the contracts and the paying off of the debts and all that kind of thing, there is this period now that people are in where they are healing from the result of being in those contracts, having to pay those debts in the first place, and leveling themselves up as a result. Now, I was kind of cackling because you've got 2 aces there and the 6 of Wands. 6 of Wands is a card of Leo. Like, well, you and Leos are really interesting. Oh, fucking itchy nose. Oh, tarot reading thing. But the Ace of Cups, like I said, we've already seen, and that's new love of a person or a thing or yourself, potentially, or a renewal thereof. And then we have the Ace of Wands, which is new creativity, new passion, a new sense of purpose in life, or a renewal of that. We've got those 2 together, and then we've got victory with the 6 of Wands here. Like, to have the 9 of Cups and the Star, and then the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Wands, and the 6 of Wands all come out in the same part of the reading, blocked only by these 2 twos here, right? Or whatever you're struggling with, it's internal, and it's blocking the good stuff, right? It's blocking your ability to manifest what is in your 9 of Cups, what the Star represents to you, what the Ace of Wands represents to you, what the Ace of Cups represents to you, right? You need to get on top of it, because it's your mind stopping your heart moving forwards. And I do very much feel like this is internal, like this isn't an external circumstance that you're trying to deal with here. This is internal. And there's some amount of fear about it here with the 2 of Swords, because ultimately that fear is what stops us doing everything. And a need to equalize how you feel internally about it. This is quite a balancing act that this chap's pulling off here, because even the slab that he's stood on, it's made of flat stones that are kind of decreasing in size until they balance on an absolute point, on top of something round underneath it. Look at these cards, man. Absolutely exquisite. Right. There's an art to this, there's a delicacy to this, which Pisces, you are perfectly capable of carrying off, right? It's a very light energy, it's a very light and nuanced thing that you're being asked to do. And currently, you're blocking yourself from doing it, so you need to stop doing that, right? The final card that you've got, which I really like to see, is the Queen of Cups, because this, for me, tells me that you are busting through whatever it is that's blocking you here in the month of April. Right? The Queen of Cups is strictly Cancer, but it could very well be your energy, and I do really actually feel like it is. It's coming from the heart. It's the next step up from the Knight. If you are moving out into the world, from a place of love, going after that Ace of Cups, right? As that character was, as I said it was there. And then this Ace of Cups is here in your potential space. If only you could stop yourself being blocked from it. Then this is the point where you accept it in, right? And this is April. And this cup is here, the Ace of Cups is here, but it's funny how it's kind of blown open, actually. I don't know if it's supposed to look like a crab or something. It's absolutely astonishing. I've never really noticed it before. It's almost like, let's see, it's almost like it's blown open with the amount of love that's in it. The moon is here, and it's up in the sky for everybody to see. There's a fucking lotus blossom at the top of the throne that this Queen Crow is sat on as well, and that's about opening up spiritually, like increased spiritual awareness. It's right at the top because it's like the crown chakra, opening up to things. And if there was a phrase that I would use to describe the Queen of Cups, the opening up, receptivity kind of aspect of it would be the route that I would go down, because for me that's what the Queen of Cups indicates. It's opening right up. It's allowing good things to come in, but it's leading from the heart and accepting from the heart, right? With nothing in between, which for you as Pisces there just shouldn't be anyway, right? This is your mind getting in the way, and it's got no business interfering with your energy, because it's not where you work from. This is where you work from. And whether this indicates the possibility of a new relationship, which is highly possible, got a number of different signs on the table here now that it could be indicating. I feel like it's a more general approach. To life and how you're living it at the moment, going forwards, at least in April. And that's so cool, because do you know what, like every sign that I've done April readings for this month what's become really, really clear is that every sign as a collective has a job to do, right? With things and the way that they are at the moment, and everything is kind of in flux. Like the fixed signs are being asked to step up and do their bit, particularly, very specifically. And if it's just sort of creating the foundation for the other signs to move, you know, like taking their four corners and building a solid base for the other signs to come in and do their bit. Like every single sign has got some internal work to do to kind of rid themselves of stuff. Like with Virgo, it's massive overthinking and resisting, and you know, new change that is coming in. For you, it seems to be a level of mental involvement where there should be none, right? Where you are leading from the heart in April, because this is what you're drawn to do. We've got these two queens here, right? This is more open, receptive energy. Like these two queens are the same, right? This is really important. This is the message that you need to take from this, because yeah, it's fucking turned up twice, right? This card clarified this card. You leading from a place of love is exceptionally important, and something that the other signs need at the moment. It's something that you have to teach the signs. This Queen of Wands energy is a little more grounded than yours, interestingly, even though it's fire, because the Wand suit will live in the moment. You know, that's what the Wand suit is about. It's all about that fire of the moment. It's about spontaneity. It's about big creativity, you know, but it's a different creative base to yours. But ultimately, the combination of the creativity in both of these cards and the capacity for love in both of these cards is really quite astonishing. You know, Leo's love with the fire of 1,000 suns, but Pisces, you got everything else. Do you know what I mean? You pull the others. It's like, do you know what? When I think about Piscean energy, it's like the dreamtime myths of the Aborigines. Like that's how it feels to me. Dreamtime, you know? And it's almost like what you're being asked to do is create that dream time for the other signs, but to anchor it a little bit more so the other signs can kind of get on board with it, because they struggle with your energy otherwise. Like you're too fucking good at the dream time, right? Pull it down a little bit to create a ladder for the others to come to climb up, right? And join you with it. Because then we've got the Nine of Swords, and usually this is, we know what the stock kind of key phrase for this card is, but I do not see it here. at all. What I'm looking at is ascension again. Like, there's this chap here, and he's holding onto a sword, and he's got some wings, but he's looking up at what appears to be a vortex going up in the sky, right? And I want to say that, like, all the signs are being called to step forward. All the signs are doing these little levels of ascension, like as collective consciousnesses across the signs are all elevating. They're all being pulled up, but the collective energy of each sign has a role to play to help the others come up with them together, right? And yours is this dreamtime space, this leading with love, but without borders, without boundaries, right? Which is what the other signs find difficult. That's what they struggle with, particularly the fire signs, right? You're being asked to weave that, right? More than you ever have done before. But drop down that ladder because the other signs need to come up with you, right? They need to enter that dream time, that dream space where the rules don't really apply anymore. And this is the thing, right? Normal rules are fucking suspended. They're out of the window. Things need to change. Things need to be different. And we've all got our role to play to create that. Oh, wow. Yeah, and this chap here with these angel wings. Yeah. There's something fucking angelic about Pisceans as well. Like, I've got 3 female friends who I'm absolutely blessed to know who are just angelic as fuck, actually. Just effortlessly. And my daughter is Pisces, and my God, she's, gosh, like a fairy. She's half here, half not, you know. She's always off somewhere, and it's incredible. The artistry of spirit in those 4 wonderful souls is quite astonishing to behold. But the point is, all of you Pisces, you have that, yeah? And this is what is needed. I'm going to leave it there. I don't think I'm going to do an extended for you. Unless, of course, some of you say that you want me to, if you want to kind of look into this 2 of Swords and how to get rid of it, like, if you put down in the comments if you want that, and I will find some time, probably not today, but tomorrow, to put that up, and I'll let you know. If you're not interested, then that's absolutely fine. That's cool. But yeah, this is pretty mint, Pisces. Like, you're really stepping into your power just in the fucking nick of time. In fact, like, all of the signs are doing it just in the fucking nick of time. So this is mint. I love you all. Take care.